Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia. This is a new segment that I would like to introduce to the channel, which is to cover global news and in particularly a focus on Asia because it's Defense Politics Asia. So that's why I believe that you guys, especially those that are in Europe and USA, might not be receiving enough of the news that is happening in Asia. So Asia is huge. A lot of things happens daily, and I believe that I can help to at least filter some of these important things that you should know, so that you don't get confused when things happen. And so, just to remind you guys, please help me to press the like button, especially if you find this useful, and so that we can propagate this to more people. And also do let me know in the comments, because this section will cover a bit of actually just one European news. But if you are interested to have DPA to cover news specifically on Europe, then do comment below so that I can create a different segment that is focusing on Europe alone, and then this segment will become purely Asian. And also, if you like a African version or America's version, and do let me know as well, so we can I can actually do something about it, and then make some preparation regarding all these things. So there are already some things that had happened. If I on the March one, you can see that a lot of things actually happened. So, but we will not be covering the March one, and we also won't be covering all these earlier things that happened in April. We'll start from the one from 29th. So in South Korea, two South Koreans are arrested for stealing military secrets for a suspected North Korean agent. So these two South Korean includes one of them includes a serving army captain, so it's a military officer, and then the other one is actually a businessman. So they are actually paid in cryptocurrency. So this is something that actually happened in South Korea. It's rather big news, so I want to let you know that this happened, and of significance is that they are being paid in cryptocurrency. So North Korea is known to have stolen a lot of cryptocurrency, and from I think South Korea and some other exchanges by hacking or through games. Because game currency actually, those multiplayer online games, some of the currency actually have value, and then some of this currency actually got stolen, and then they kind of monetize it for money. So that this happened. So moving on, in South China Sea, this island. If you look at this island, looks like a very massive aircraft carrier that cannot move. This is Taiping Island. So the Republic of China, which is Taiwan, plans to extend this runway at Taiping Island in the Spratlys. So China is extremely unhappy with Taiwan's alleged plan to extend the runway in the contested Taiping Island. And then they say that this is playing with fire. This news is coming from AmericanMilitaryNews.com, which is kind of funny because while they say it's contested, no one actually attempted to invade and take over Taiping Island. So I will be probably doing maybe a focus map on purely South China Sea someday, and so that we can have a better understanding of the situation in South China Sea as well. So moving on to the next news. Indonesia's President Jokowi Widodo have invited Putin for the G20, and Putin have agreed to attend. And interestingly, Indonesia also invited Zelenskyy, but it's not sure if Zelenskyy actually agreed to come, or will he be free to come at all. So Putin thanked Indonesia for the invitation to the G20 summit and said that he would attend. However, this actually kind of pissed off United States. So they were under heavy pressure. So Indonesia is under heavy pressure especially by the West and the US to exclude Russia However, Indonesia say that they must remain impartial. So that's why Jokowi also said that he has also invited President Zelenskyy to attend. So, but no news regarding whether he have agreed to come. So the summit, the G20 summit, will take place on Bali Island, the holiday tourist destination, which is a really beautiful island. And the sand is very interesting. The sand is actually black in color because it's a volcanic island. So if you have a chance to go, you should go and visit the Bali Island. So the US President Joe Biden have expressed publicly his opposition to Putin attending the G20. However, have welcomed the Ukrainians for attending. It's important to note that Ukraine is not part of the G20, so this is utter hypocrisy. And the State Department also added that they don't think that Russia should be part of it. Sorry, this is by the Jen Psaki. So she said that they don't think Russia should be part of it publicly or privately. And then the United States, according to Jelena Porter, the State Department deputy spokesperson, said that the US continues to believe that it can't be business as usual with regards to Russia's participation with the international community for all international institutions. So this is a blatant attempt to actually restart the Cold War, which I'm very, very against. So Serbia. Where's the news? Oh, okay, Serbia. So in Serbia, they showed off the new Chinese SAM system, the HQ-22, that was delivered, rather privately, publicly, through this massive airlift operation from China by the Y-20 transport planes. So according to this excerpt from the article, this is from SCMP. South China Morning Post, based in Hong Kong. So Serbia on Saturday publicly displayed a recently delivered Chinese anti-aircraft missile system, raising concerns in the West among some of the Serbia's neighbor that an arms build-up in the Balkans can threaten fragile peace in the region, which is utterly nonsensical, because most of the country around Serbia is actually NATO. So in any case, it will be NATO versus Serbia, and Serbia will be massively outgunned. So the so-called sophisticated, I will put a dot here actually, HQ-22 surface-to-air missile is delivered last month by a dozen of Chinese Air Force Y-20 transport plane, and is believed to be the largest ever airlift delivery of Chinese arms to Europe. So and actually HQ-22 is also the only Serbia is the only country that actually bought a SAM system from the Chinese. So this is so they showed it off to kind of warn, maybe they know something that we don't know. Maybe they discovered maybe some plans or heard of something that about maybe possible the way of destabilizing Serbia. That's why they are actually saber rattling to make sure nobody dare to do something to them. In Philippines, in this Mindanao, I think this island is called. So the headline, Moro Islamic Liberation Force, which is MILF, troops will be voting in the Philippines local and national elections for the first time ever. So according to this Brigadier General Antonio Navarrete, so the chairman of the government panel in the coordinating committees of the cessation of hostilities, he said that this, for the first time, our MILF brothers will be exercising their political right to vote, and we have to also safeguard the area and remind them that in voting, wearing of their uniform and bringing firearms is strictly prohibited under the protocols agreed on the ground. So in Mindanao, the government and MILF officials, as well as international monitoring team members, and the Commission on Election guidelines for the ceasefire related functions ahead of the May 9 elections. So this is part of this very important development within Philippines, because the Philippines got a lot of this rebel groups, and they are trying to get them to become peaceful and to rejoin the community of Philippines. This is a massive island. Do not mistake. Just look at the scale, and if I zoom in all the way, you see this is a massive island. So any rebel guerrilla force that try to decided to fight the government, it will take forever to hunt them down. So it's good that Philippines is trying to involve them into the political system and slowly get that to end the conflict within this area for good. So moving on to the next, we are back in Indonesia. So Indonesia have suspended palm oil export. This news is actually from the 24th, I believe, 24th of April. However, the impact of this suspension start to come on the 30th, when this article by the ABS-CBN, which is a Philippine news company, said that the decision to suspend palm oil export in the face of domestic shortage has pushed vegetable oil prices to new heights all around the world. So the price of palm, soybean, European rapeseed, and even Canadian canola oil has reached historic highs following Indonesia's announcement. So according to this Felipe Xiaomi, of an economics professor at a Paris Dauphine University in France, they said that there is already problems with soybeans in South America and with canola in Canada because of the severely affected extension of droughts. So this then came with devastation of sunflowers in Ukraine due to the war. And this palm oil is the most consumed vegetable oil in the world. Indonesia accounts for 35% of the global export, according to James Fry, the chairman of the LMC consulting firm. So guys, if you are watching this and you're still here, good news for you. Go and buy more vegetable oil now before it gets even more expensive. Iraq. So this is one of those crazy news that I saw and I got my mind blown. Iraq have agreed to repay $1 billion to Iran. $1 billion to Iran. So Iraq is ready to pay its debts to Iran, and a repayment procedure will begin in the coming days, said Yahya Ishaq. Yeah, Yahya Ishaq. Correct. This is should be the right way to pronounce it. He's the chairman of the Iran. This is kind of weird. So Iran say that Iraq is ready to pay the debts for the energy imports. So what happened is that Iraq have been owing more and more money to Iran for energy imports, because Iraq has no way to repay Iran for the imports due to the sanctions on Iran. So finally, somehow, some way, they are now able to pay, and Iraq will pay off $1 billion, mostly in energy bills, to the Iranian government via a mechanism developed by the Iranian Central Bank, Ishaq say. So he notes that in addition, the Iranian private sector is also going to receive $9 billion in repayment from Iraq. So if this is true, then we are looking at $10 billion windfall, or $10 billion repayment from Iraq to Iran. This will greatly benefit Iran's economy, and it looks like everything that's happening around the world now is actually hugely benefiting Iran. So huge news here. Jumping to Sri Lanka. So the highly at risk country, Sri Lanka has announced a 40% price hike for the common medicine. So if you have watched the update or the news on Sri Lanka, which I've posted maybe a week ago, you'll probably have known that this is rather bad situation in Sri Lanka, where they have no fuel and no foreign reserve. So they are currently at risk, and they have no food, not enough fuel, so causing energy crisis and causing food crisis. And they have a low foreign exchange reserve, high national debt, low growth, high inflation, and people are unhappy. And they have a authoritarianism or a dictatorship kind of problem with a huge doubt in their leadership, and that all resulted in a 40 upon 100 in terms of the DPA CSI. So they are at risk country, and this problem continue to exacerbate as they are unable to import medicine, and as a result they have to raise the price of common medicine. So this is not even special medicine, but it's common medicine by 40%. So hospitals are already cancelling routine surgeries because they ran out of anesthetic, and this new directive applies to 60 medicines that are in short supply. So antibiotics, painkillers, medicine for heart condition, diabetes will all be subjected to price hike, according to the health minister Chanan Jaya Sumana. So this is the second time in 6 weeks that the pharmaceutical prices has been raised. So in mid-March, they have already raised 30%. So things are looking terrible for Sri Lanka. Terrible. So going to India, another crazy news. India has seized $725 million from China's Xiaomi over remittance. So the Enforcement Directorate, India's financial investigation agency, tweeted that this news is also from SCMP, that he has seized the amount, this amount of $725 million from Xiaomi's local unit. So this comes after an investigation that was launched by this federal agency over concerns of illegal remittance. So the agency said that the smartphone maker had transferred $725 million to 3 foreign-based entities with the guise of royalty payments. So quoted by the Press Trust of India. So the agency also brought in Xiaomi's global vice president Manu Jamajain at the company's regional office in the southern city of Bangalore, so for questioning. So this is a continuation of the crackdown by India on Chinese tech firms. And if you're not know, India has already banned TikTok in China, and they also banned a series of Chinese apps, which is, I think, more than over 100 apps. They are China based. So India is definitely not on China's side in terms of this developing geopolitical situation. So this is just a continuation of that. However, the Ukraine war kind of make things very complicated, because if India is on the west side to counter China, but yet they are on Russia's side because of the close ties with Russia in terms of military trading, then they are not siding the west with Ukraine, then we might actually see India developing into its own power or own position that is separate from the west, Russia and China. So very interesting development. So moving on to the final news, in Afghanistan. So despite Taliban have taken control of Afghanistan, so the Taliban also inherited the terrorist problem that the Taliban is supposed to be in Afghanistan. So there is this suicide bombing at the Sahib Khalifa mosque. So this mosque is located in Kabul. It's located by one of the Twitter OC to be here. So although it kind of don't relate to this, located on a major boulevard in the capital city near the National Parliament and the American University of Afghanistan, which is here and here. So this is the parliament. The parliament is here. The university is here. So I do not know how do you call this near. But anyway, So both institutions has been shut down since the Taliban have taken over. So there's no national parliament, and then there's no American University of Afghanistan. So the bombing has not been claimed by anyone. And they so sorry, it's not a suicide bombing, it's just a bombing. So they're not sure whether the device is planted or a suicide bomber has actually exploded himself or herself. So the blast, this followed blast from in 3 different cities already, leaving 50 people dead, and countless other have been wounded. So one of them is outside a school in Kabul, and another one is at a mosque in Mazar-i-Sharif, and another one is at the mosque of Kunduz. And then there's also 3 attacks on passenger buses. So the terrorist problem in terrorist held Afghanistan is getting very peculiar. So but from my own analysis is that this is actually committed by the ISIS forces, because the ISIS forces is currently fighting the Taliban in Afghanistan. But it's very unlikely that ISIS will be able to take over Afghanistan. But they are going to cause massive amount of problem for the Taliban. And each of these explosions and attacks actually undermines the trust of the people in the Taliban. Because when the Taliban first took over from the Americans last year, a good portion of the people are actually very happy that finally they are getting back their control over their own people, and the Taliban also revamped their branding and people's perception of Taliban, because Taliban went from a very conservative, very traditionalist kind of organization to this very modern, well-educated class of people, while looking a lot like, well, they still keep their beards and everything, which looks still traditionalist, but a lot of them speak very good English. They're educated overseas, and somehow they have inherited this massive problem, and ISIS is keen to destabilize Afghanistan further, so that the country can go back to this tribalistic civil war sort of situation, which the Taliban would benefit from. So this is the headline news for the past day, or past 24 hours, or past 48 hours, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you find this segment to be interesting, useful, and you want me to continue to develop this, my aim is actually to conduct this news on a daily basis, if I can, as much as I can. So it's a bit like the radio news that you listen to, while you're driving on, listening to radio, right? So you have this news going on. This is something that I wish to be doing, and so it's like a quick summary of what's happening around the world on a daily basis, and I think this should be quite useful, and it's only like 20 minutes, so it's not very long. It's very consumable, I believe. So do let me know as well, as I mentioned in the comments, if you want European only news, and if I should separate Asia news from European news, so that I can cover more news, because we covered 10 pieces of news, so I shouldn't be doing too much. If not, then the video will be too long. But if we focus on a European only one, then we can have 10 pieces of news from Europe. Then that will actually be more Eurocentric, and then we can have an American version, or the whole of America's version, and an Asian version. So there will be 3 different news. Then it's easier, I believe, for everyone to pick the news that you want to listen to. And of course, there is also the African one. If you need a news cast for what happened in Africa, do let me know as well. Not sure if I should cover Africa daily, but maybe we can do a weekly version of the African headlines. So do let me know your suggestion below. I really appreciate each of every one of your comments and support, and I do read as much comments as I can. If you do not know, if I have read your comment, I will actually press the like button. If I agree with you, I will actually press the heart, the love button. So I will heart you. if I actually agree with you. If I don't agree with you, I still press the like button to let you know that I've actually saw your comment. So do let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next update.